Now recording.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Roundtable Report. I'm Shaylei,
I'm Jazzy, as always. The best, always, forever and always.
and we have a special guest with us here today. We have Rhyme with us. How you
Hello.
doing, Rhyme?
I'm okay. I just finished doing 2 hours of PvP, so I'm a little shaky. I'm a little amped, but all things considered, it was fun. I had fun. I'm feeling pretty good.
That is not how I get with PvP. I get
Yeah,
angry and I don't like myself when I PvP, so I don't.
I don't PvP either, so
It depends on level of caffeination and how the rest of the day has gone. If I have had a bad day, I probably shouldn't PvP because I will then, yes, get angry, frustrated, upset, yelly, and otherwise emotional. So
Saying things that are not EK appropriate.
I would
how
never do such a thing.
dare you even think that thought, Jazzy?
That's what push to talk is for.
I mean, yeah. So, Rhyme is our new events chancellor for anybody who doesn't know. How's that working out for you, Rhyme?
Oh my God, there's so much to do. Actually, I think it's going pretty well. They're, you know, introduced. I've had a lot of conferences with Bell and with other people talking about, how can we, what can we do as a guild to involve people in stuff like, what do people like to do that isn't just raiding and Mythic Plus in the game? And so, we'll have like the dragon riding event that's currently going on, or there's a transmog contest that was supposed to happen this weekend, but we decided that needed a little bit more refinement before it's ready. So I think it's going well. I think, there's always going to be more to do. And one of the things I actually had a chat today with Bell and Snow and Borland about Mythic Plus stuff, and that kind of bled over into non-Mythic Plus things that maybe we could consider doing as well, just to kind of increase engagement, make people feel, more a part of the community. There's more stuff on offer than just raids and Mythic Pluses, because, what happens if somebody wants to pet battle or achievement hunt or mount collect or pet collect or, any of those things. So
Maybe we
um,
should bring the Mount Run back.
uh, Zindi is supposed to be doing that. I think there was no interest this last week. It was supposed to be 2 weeks ago, I think. Um, I'll have to go look, but she didn't
Gotcha.
get any pings about it. So yeah, it's there. It's once a month for now because it's on Sunday, and Zindi is also in charge of doing new member orientation via Hello EK, and so that's also on Sunday. And it just, to keep things sane for Zindi, we decided we could do that like once a month or every other Sunday so that it doesn't conflict.
Well, she always shows up to my fishing event every Sunday as it ends.
That sounds like Zindi. I have there have been several times, even in the last week, where I'll just be hanging out in my Patreon channel and I'll be getting ready, like even moving the mouse to the disconnect, and she'll pop in and it's like, oh, hi, Zindi.
She has
Hello.
impeccable timing like
She
that. We love
does.
you, Zindi.
She does. We do.
Even though you
So,
take pictures of my house as you're driving past it instead of coming and saying hi. But whatever.
We talked about
Whatever.
that. We've talked about that. I even the suggestions were made, Jazzy, to not only take pictures of your house, but also of your mailbox and also of your front door. And then I did
Be like in front of
suggest
my
that,
front door, like, "Hey, was
yeah, yeah,
here."
yeah, exactly. But I did also suggest trying to get a picture into your apartment through one of your windows. Um,
oh, Lord have mercy.
like it was fully a game of how far can we take this. Um,
Oh
That
my
would be
god.
hilarious, and also very talented since I'm on the 3rd floor with my windows constantly shut.
I did remark it
mean,
would take some rigging. So yes.
So if you get a picture from the inside of my apartment, good on ya, you earned it.
oh my goodness. So, are you finding Events Chancellor harder than you thought it was? Easier? About the same?
Harder because, I'll be honest, I play the game to raid and do Mythic Plus. Like that's what I play for. So kind of having to think about and explore ideas of, well, what do people who don't play the game the same way I do want to do? How can we, how can I even organize an event for something that they may want to do? Because that's not something I would even think to do. And some of it has been fun. Like I participated in the transmog contest for the 10th anniversary. I'm a combatant. I'm a contestant in the dragon riding racing. Speaking of which, I need to do that. Um,
Slacker.
so
Slacker.
it's been, oh yeah, it's absolutely been kind of eye opening with um, they're not that I didn't know that there weren't other ways to enjoy the game, but there are, being kind of having to participate in them and partake of them because, it feels really stupid to be like, I'm going to organize an event for this and then not have any firsthand knowledge of how does this even function. Um,
Yeah, that's it. I've said this before, and I think other people have said it. WoW isn't one game; it's about 20,
mhm,
depending on
absolutely.
how you play it.
Pretty
Whether
much.
that's the different levels of rating, world questing, leveling, alts, pet battle, PvP, transmog, achievement hunting, mount hunting, whatever it is. It's not just one game, which makes things very complicated for the only game that matters, which is rating.
Yep.
And Mythic Plus.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, no, I did a lot of the helping out with the back end stuff with the event, with getting the events ideas down for the 10th anniversary,
Mhm.
all kind of crammed in at once. So I definitely feel you on that one.
Hopefully, it's getting a little easier though as you get in there and get stuff organized how it needs to be and let it cook, as the kids say nowadays.
Yeah, and it has been. I mean, part of, some of the things that we talked about, courtesy of Pepper. There's a spreadsheet, we'll say it's in beta right now that it works and it actually provides some insight into, who's coming to the raid events. Like it pulls from Warcraft logs and Raider IO and X Faction to basically kind of give us an idea who's coming to raid events, what team in the guild are they on, and that sort of thing. And all I got to say is Xeroxia, man, I don't know if you listen to this, but geez, you come to everything. Like in the last 2 months, Xeroxia has far and away the most events attended at 30. Um,
Every time I see an event happening, they're in there.
yes,
Every time.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's great. Like, I love it because Xeroxia is not on a team. Xeroxia is in Endless. So,
Yeah.
obviously they enjoy coming to the raids and doing the raid things. I believe they have a legendary on their paladin. They're trying to get it on their warrior. Like, it's great to see them so reliably and regularly come to things. So it's nice to see that. And I'm hoping that we can kind of at least instill um, some of that dedication in a lot of other folks. And part of part of the first step of that is figuring out, well, why are people showing up to the events? What brings them in? Where are they coming from? As part of understanding why why are they coming to events? And maybe even long ways down the road, but it's something I've kind of been working on with involving the teams in events with like Defying Gravity and doing the dragon flying races or Empire's transmog contest. Admittedly, I was not involved with that, but you guys ran it, and that was kind of the genesis for thinking, hey, maybe the teams would like to sponsor some events, and then through that we can hopefully get some more engagement from the teams and get some cross team and cross community dialogue going. And I think that would be really helpful. So it's been an interesting experience thus far. I also don't have much like person management experience, so
Well, people
it's
just
been
are the worst though, aren't they? Oof.
it depends on the person. Like we have
These people here are okay, but other
yeah,
people,
yeah,
about
we have
that.
1,300 people here, and it's kind of nice sometimes
It's
to be
it's
like,
a it's a lot. I mean,
yeah.
I've got a lot of people management experience just between the amount of time that I've been in leadership in the guild, and I've got like 20 years of retail management experience under my belt. So if you need pointers, let me know.
I've been talking a lot with Belle, and that's her gig as well in the world. So it's been helpful just thinking about how am I, how can I approach this to help people, you know, I need to expand, I need to expand the staff. Coughs in the help wanted post in the
Yep.
Discord cough. Um, but just learning how to work with people and kind of empower them to help them help me help them help me, because it's all about just working together, and let's get events, you know the good feeling, well running events going, and enjoyed by everybody who comes, and a bunch of people want to come to them and all of that. So it's been eye opening so far. I'm looking forward to continuing it for as long as I'm allowed. So
Speaking of the help wanted posts, do you have any particulars for people that are listening? Who, what, when, where, how, why, etc.?
Honestly, couple, like, one of the big things, well, two of the big things are standbys for runs, because right now it's kind of been the Rhyme and Azure show for a while. Before that, it was the Rhyme and Azure and Palp show, but Palp, I guess, has had other conflicts, so he couldn't come to do stuff. But the big, standby for any given run ideally would be someone who is a regular attendee of that run anyway, just because then they'll kind of have a feel for the character of the run and how it's supposed to go, um, and we'll just be able to make it as seamless a transition if the regular run lead has to be out. But then also, the reset run on Tuesday, Fallen had initially offered to sub in until the new year, and this was right around Thanksgiving, before Christmas, and we said we'd try and find a run lead for it for the new year, and then that fell through. We did have one person who said they would do it, and then that fell through, and he offered to continue running it for the rest of the season. So once the season concludes, if Fallen doesn't want to keep running the Tuesday reset run, that might have to go on hiatus for a while, because Tuesday is one of my raid nights. So I can't step in to do it, and I don't have standbys who can step in to do it. So
I
that's.
mean, I can't help you there, Rhyme. Tuesday is my only raid night.
Mm-hmm. 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 So, but yeah, that's if I were pressed, that would be it. I need someone who's comfortable leading the raid, who would step up for Reset Run Tuesday, and if anybody even wants to try their hand at leading a raid and would like to learn how to do that, I would be more than happy to help give some pointers, sort of give some instruction on these are the things that I'm thinking about, and then just go to the events. And if you listen to what the run lead is saying and how they're talking about the run, and then you have questions, if I'm in the run, I'll be more than happy to stick around after and answer questions about, well, why why did we do it this way, or what were we thinking about, just to kind of help folks, because I know, it's a daunting thing, right, being in charge of anywhere from 10 to 30 other people, and leading them to victory through the raid, and keeping track of the bosses, and making sure everything keeps a good pace and all of that. It can sound daunting. I mean, if you've never done it before, I've been doing raid leading in some way, shape, or form since Karazhan and Burning Crusade, so it's just kind of second nature to me at this point. But um, certainly, you start by just saying, "Hey, I'm interested in this," and then I'm more than happy to help hook somebody up, and help them learn how to, what's their style, how do they like to lead, how can we turn that into some leadership skills, and then from there they can start as a standby, and then if they like it, maybe you could have a run of your own. That's how I got into it. I was standby for Saturday Morning Fun Run back when Varda was running it during Sanctum of Domination, and
I
here
remember
I
those
am
I
days.
today.
remember that.
Here I am today. So,
I went to those runs.
yeah, and the other thing is, I have absolutely helped and will help people in the future. This is leadership experience. This is resume relevant. You can absolutely put herding cats through a raid instance on your resume. So,
It feels weird to me to
Oh
to
my
to put
god.
it on my resume, but you're absolutely correct. It is valuable experience as far as management, or dealing with other people, or working within a team and everything. It feels weird to me, but
oh
that's
yeah,
because I was raised
Right?
old school.
yeah,
And speaking of herding cats, we've got
Where?
the Druid run coming back.
we do. I'm
Uh,
excited.
April 27th at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Minimum item level is going to be 450. Be on the lookout for more details. Um, sorry, Rhyme.
No,
Aldra Rum has kind of become my thing. So
all, you know what? That's fine because that means I don't have to do it, Shay.
So I told you how it came about that I started doing it, right?
Yeah, like didn't Itzy basically say if you want to do it, do it?
Well, no, so somebody came to me and asked me if I knew if the All Druid run was gonna happen again because they really enjoyed it in the past, and I'm like, "I don't know, I can ask Itzy and see if she's got plans for it," and I messaged Itchy and Itzy, and she's like, "If you wanna do it, go ahead and do it," and I'm like, "Okay," and then I did the one, and then I was told during that run that I had to do it every tier, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
You know what? I'm okay with that. I've always like my view of events in general is I will facilitate where I can, run where I can't facilitate, and otherwise, just I, right now it's me. I have one ambassador and then a bunch of run leads, and that's it. So there's not a lot of people power there for doing the one-off events or like the big events that we really want to make sure we have good coverage of. So if you're willing to keep doing it because you've been doing it and you know how it should go and everything we need to do on the back end, by all means, Shay, continue. Just let me know if I can help.
The
That's
hardest thing
fine.
that she has to do is actually make Jazzy level his druid, and
Yep,
Jazzy, level your
exactly.
druid.
she just drugged me through
We
5
did
time
time
walkings, man.
walkers. I got 2 item level. How many item levels did you get, Jazzy?
7,
See?
what
We
what
made
item level's
progress.
your druid?
427.
Mine's
Okay.
432.
Okay. All right. You're
In
almost
in
there.
fairness,
We
I
got a
hadn't
month?
touched I hadn't touched the druid since the last druid run.
Me either.
Hmm.
Look, that's the only reason my druid is leveled. That's the only reason my druid gets any gear is for the all druid thing. And who's messaging me in Discord? It's
See,
speaking of Cindy.
druids have this nasty little inherited flaw. They can't be a gnome.
That's a
Really,
feature, not a bug.
really hampers my drive to play the druid.
Well,
I mean, druid is
druid,
fun.
or Jazzy. I bet if you played a druid enough, your perspective would shift a little bit.
Ah, it hurts my soul.
God,
It hurts
Jazzy.
it hurts my soul. Actually, I've been meaning to, speaking of druid and gnomes being better, that's I think my next D&D character is going to be a gnome druid. She's gonna be great. She's still cooking, but sorry. Other game. Haha.
We don't play other games here.
I do.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing, anybody
Is
wants to
Jazzy's
help out
available?
with events, message Rhyme. If anybody's
Yes.
got
Mhm.
any ideas for events that we could possibly do, I'm here message Rhyme with that too.
Feel free to run those ideas as well.
Yes, yeah. I may take a page from Burb's book. Burb has that lovely form that he has for graphics requests, and I may just investigate doing something similar and work with Burb on that. And if you have an idea for an event, hit me. Like, just throw it at me. I'll be happy to entertain ideas. I've gotten one. I need to reach out to the person for an event from sponsored or working with Team Chivalry. But
Talk
that
to
will be a
so
question. It's
talk to Burb about getting a Burb style
form. Yep.
form.
And
Yeah.
then I will. And then if somebody has an idea, they can just fill out the form, and I'll say, yeah, that sounds cool. Do you want to run it?
Fantastic. Well, do you want to keep going? Let's talk 10 to 6.
That works for me. Let's go.
So initially, when we put our topics on here, 10-6 hadn't been announced. It has now. In case you're curious, it happens Tuesday. You know, glad you got time to prep. Also, not a whole lot's happening with it.
Wasn't it
Season
Yeah.
4 will be coming later,
quote
but 10
unquote?
to 6, yeah, later in several weeks, quote unquote, whatever the heck that means. But is the our question here was, and I think Taliesin and Evitel actually talked about the same thing, so I'm stealing this straight from them. Not a lot of hype about it. Not a lot of build up. Is that good or bad? What do we think?
I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting to see where it goes at this point.
Like, they haven't really announced, like, much, right?
Wasn't that the one where on the graphic for their,
Uh-huh,
their
there's a pirate
timeline
flag.
thing, it was the pirate flag.
Yeah, there's a pirate flag.
So, I mean, ahoy mateys. Like,
And I mean, do you think it's gonna be anything piratey?
well, no, because International Talk Like a Pirate Day was September 19th last
Right.
year. So, we're a little early this year. So, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I know nothing. So,
I mean,
I'm
they've
intrigued,
intentionally
but
not said anything,
yeah. Well, I mean,
which
I hope it's good.
I hope so too, but there's not a lot of, like, build up, like, there's not anticipation, there's not. That's the thing, that's weird, right? Normally, a new patch comes out, people are all excited that a new patch is coming, and they're also dooming that a new patch is coming, but,
Mhm.
there's nothing really happening, it's just, "Okay, the patch is Tuesday. Wonder what it's gonna be."
I think that's sort
We'll
of from
find
the
out.
I think that's the secrecy, right?
Yeah.
We don't know anything, so we can't have any hype, and maybe that's a good thing, maybe not. I think time will tell.
I mean, what cracks me up are the people that are dooming because they haven't said anything, so clearly nothing's going to happen. Because that's how that works.
Yeah, Blizzard said that a thing is coming, but because they haven't announced any information about it previously, no thing is coming. Uh, that's okay.
I, in
Typical
fact,
Ian.
just work here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But they have, at least on their roadmap, they did put stuff for 10.2.7 because what the heck is 10.2.6? What's a 6 patch? Nobody knows about that. 7 patch though. So we
Season
have,
4.
well, no, I don't know about that.
For
They
you don't
have,
think 10.2.7 is season 4?
I don't. I
Okay.
think 10.2.7 is much later than season 4. I think 10.2.7 is closer to like uh pre-patch style or pre-patch prep. The
Okay.
pre-patch? Weird.
The pre-patch.
Blah,
Um
blah, 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 blah.
the patch. Uh, um they have on here, this is according to World of Warcraft's official roadmap. Take that for what you will. Time running pandemonium, whatever that means.
I
Harbinger
was gonna say, what
quests.
the heck is that even?
Harbinger and or Harbinger, or however you pronounce that, quests.
Harbinger.
My
Troll
team
and
has
Draenei
quests.
heritage. Yeah, you have quests. They made a whole quest line just for your team. Did Cos not tell you?
No, he did not tell me. I will have to corner him and give him heck about it.
Typical Cos. Troll and Draenei a heritage armor, so nothing there. Um, and a new holiday event. What holiday?
I don't know what like do we have any idea about when this is? Maybe it's like Memorial Day or 4th of July. I don't know.
10.2.7 they said was late spring, early summer, if you believe their roadmap timeline thing.
I
Memorial Day,
yeah,
probably.
Memorial Day, but what holiday event are they going to work into WoW about Memorial Day?
What else
Maybe
is
like
I mean,
Remembrance Day or something. I don't know.
maybe something like that, remembering all the fallen warriors.
Yeah,
maybe?
I mean that would make sense around Memorial Day.
That would. But what about this time running pandemonium? What is
I
that?
have no clue. Like I'm wondering what that is too. I'm like, oh.
I mean, that sounds like bronze dragons got a hair up their ass and started doing stuff, right? Is that what's
So,
happening here?
hold on. There's a deliberate misspelling in this. Pandemonium is panda, not pandemonium. It's pandemonium. So I
Jazzy.
think it's involving the pandas.
No.
I think there's something with the pandas, maybe the Shah.
Oh man, what could that be?
Oh.
Really, it's spelled with an A.
Yeah.
Oh.
Time running though.
I don't know, maybe Kermit got drunk? I don't know.
If Chromie got drunk, she needs to come visit me because that sounds like a good time.
No, you want Morchi to come visit you if
Yeah, we
she
want
was
Morchi to
I
come
want
visit.
Morshi to come visit me for a different reason, but
Whoa,
uh,
whoa, whoa. G-rated podcast. G-rated podcast. Need
so
an
we
adult.
can talk about I. Never mind.
Okay.
So we could talk about eyeliner.
That's true.
I mean, Chromie does reference that. A
She
little
does.
heavy on the eyeliner.
She does.
So interesting. So okay, let's play with this a little bit here. Time running pandemonium. So let's say Pandaria. So maybe Shasta. Have we done time walking raid of mop?
No.
We have not.
That
So,
could be it. Give me
okay.
time walking tot, please. Throne of Thunder, please, 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 please.
I mean,
Favorite raid ever.
that does fit in kind of if you look at Pandaria and you think about the Isle of Thunder, wasn't it kind of lost to time or something? I forget what the exact lore around why the Isle of Thunder was locked away, but that could certainly play into what's going on there. Or it might be Siege of Orgrimmar and Timeless Isle related because the Timeless Isle.
Yeah, Timeless Isle. That was locked.
Please,
That
can
was
we go
time
back and
locked,
kill
right?
Garrosh again?
I need them shoulders on my
As
Palalalaladin.
as long
La
as
la
when
la
we
la
kill
din.
as long as when we kill Garrosh, I don't have to stand in my rune of power and keep my evoker buff up, evocation buff up, because I had to do that when it was live back in the day, and I was not okay with that. That was so annoying. Sorry, I was on my mage and standing in rune of power for a whole minute, um, while I had to evo every 30 seconds to keep up the buff. Not no no never no Blizz no.
And
Just
then
don't.
on the heroic difficulty when you had to dance in and out of the purple circle on the blackish purple ground that you could barely see.
Oh, see, yeah, yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a humble brag. I am not colorblind at all. I can see all those shapes and colors very well, and I do not struggle with those things. But
Oh,
I
I didn't.
sympathize with those that do.
I don't want to talk about that freaking Atoldazar, that last boss, those purple spiders that spawn in the purple circle on the ground and on a shadow priest.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't see them.
it's rough with a frosty K too because you always have remorseless winter going. So you're surrounded by this cold sphere of swirling ice, and when the purple swirls spawn
It's the
underneath you,
same color as
you
me.
you don't see them. That gives me Elisand vibes from Nighthold
Oh
because I was
god.
I
like,
have to I have to guess at where they're going to spawn
oh
because
yeah,
I legitimately cannot see them because they're exactly this, especially if I got Void Torrent going.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I really can't see them.
back in Nighthold as a demo warlock, you had an ability called Demon Wrath, and it was a channeled ability. It let you move while channeling, and all it did was it pulsed AoE damage out in 3 yards around
Even your
you and
demons.
all of your demons. The damage color was sort of the purpley red shadow flame, and I forget why I had to do it, but periodically you would have to do it to kill ads, I think. And so you'd be doing that, but there would be light purple swirls from Elisand's abilities popping up on the ground underneath you that were smaller than the Demon Wrath circle around you. So you could not see them because Demon Wrath effect was blocking it. I died more than once to that, and I'm ashamed to say it. So I feel you. It's absolutely like Blizzard, can we please have some color disparity in mechanics versus environment? Please.
I feel their pain at Blizzard, and this is a little bit of sympathy to them because they want to make the abilities thematic to the boss. It wouldn't be natural for Smolderon, for example, to have lovely green and obvious telegraphed abilities because why is fire green except for warlocks? Like, I get that. On the other hand, make them defined lines that are very obvious and actually have contrast. Please.
Yeah,
Begging you.
I
These
think.
fuzzy, like, little weird, like, runish
Mhm,
type lines that indicate the kinda area where stuff may or may not happen no, just give me a solid pixel line, and I'm
mhm,
good.
mhm. I
It's one
think.
thing Final
Uh-huh.
Fantasy does really well, I think, and
Oh yeah,
they should rip that off, please do.
I think the other thing would be the telegraph can be a color. The effect does not have to be the same color.
That's
So
fair.
if we collectively learn as a player base that when you see a bright, like, not even blended, just a straight bright red swirl on the ground, that is a bad mechanic. great. Just leave it. Like, how many times have there been green circles that you don't stand in because they're the bad green circles? But that F flow that the druid just threw down is the good green circle, but nobody's standing in it because they're both green. And we don't know how to tell which is which on half a second's notice, right?
You're just
Like,
describing Naimu.
I'm well aware. That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Green is bad.
Green is good. Green is bad. Green is both.
Green is bad. So is
So
fire.
I think, as you say, Jazzy, a good uniformity of this is the edge, like this is the
Yes.
hard edge. Don't blend out the edge of the swirls. Don't blend out the edge of the meteor mechanics. Just
Yeah.
give us the line
One
and
thing
give us a
I think
universal color.
they did it. I believe they actually started doing this specific thing in Shadowlands. If it's something that needs to be soaked, it has that plume in the middle,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it's not pluming when somebody's soaking it. That is a good. Yes, that.
Yes,
That's
yes.
great. That is fantastic because now I can see at an instant, is that soaked or not?
And the other thing I think they
Yes,
started doing
is always the
BFA
answer.
and Shadowlands is the meteor versus the not meteor, right? Like the
Right, the
meteor
ring
has that.
versus the swirl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's also great because you can immediately tell, and I think we're learning or have learned as a player base that when you see that, you move in. When you don't
right,
see that, you move out.
right.
And
Those are good design things. Good job,
mhm.
Blizz. Keep that
Mhm.
up. Those are
Mhm.
great. On a related note, the ring for the soak is like if you if you're a gnome and you're actually staring at stuff closely because it's right in front of your face. Um, it's actually a rounded torus, like a donut that rotates with a texture. Why?
What?
Why? It doesn't need to be. It just needs to be a solid line pixel. That's all I need.
Has to look pretty.
That's all you need, but some other people may need different stuff.
I mean, make it a thick line, 3, 4, maybe even 5 Cs, but still, like, just a line.
Make it
It does
sparkle.
it doesn't need to be a
Sparkle.
fancy textured torus donut thing. No.
It needs to sparkle though.
I mean, everything needs a sparkle, especially my armor.
We'll throw some glitter on it. It'll never come out.
Oh, man. Ellis Rhyme, you mentioned Elisand. That was a fantastic gimmick of a fight. I love that time, back and forth thing as well as the fast and slow. That was a lot of fun as far as the gimmick goes. I actually didn't like the fight a whole lot. Nighthold was great,
Yeah, no, I
but that
thoroughly
fight was
enjoyed.
frustrating at times.
Well, because it's.
Having to kite the ads into specific places, it just was
Oh yeah,
unforgiving, I should say. And but it was a good as far as a gimmick goes, that was a well done one for a
yeah.
fight.
I enjoyed it because it was kind of like the three fights in one, but not in the toxic Sylvanas way, where
Right,
you have the first phase and you do the first phase with the intention that okay, the first phase and the second phase you have to do those together, and then you have to do the first and the second and the third phase all together, and then you win, right? Like I
exactly.
agree. That
Yeah,
was a really fun mechanic of an enjoyable fight.
yeah.
I heard the
Botness
raid
can go
lead
die
in
in a
there.
fire, but
No, dude, that I hate that fight so much.
but on the
Like
whole, Nighthold was a really well done raid. That's like very top tier raid there. Probably one of my favorites. Probably second.
I hear the raid lead yelling at us there,
Yeah,
Rhyme.
raid leads yelling at
Yes,
us. I swear I'm not standing in the fire.
she is she woke up earlier while I was doing PvP and she wanted pets, but she was unwilling to come out of her hutch to get pets. And I was like in the middle of killing a horde, and so I did not go and get her, and now she woke up again
How
and was
dare you, Rhyme?
very was being very vocal about dad, it is
I want
time.
love. Give me
Yes,
pets. Come on, get with
yes,
it. So,
exactly.
since she's telling us to change topics,
Clearly,
are we thinking the alpha's coming soon for War Within?
to war within. Are we calling it Twoba?
Twa,
Can I petition that that's what we're gonna call it now?
twa,
Twoba.
twa,
Twoba?
twa,
No, that's only one W. There's two W's.
twa,
Twoba.
I agree with Jazzy. I think Twoba.
twa.
Twoba.
On the roadmap that infamous roadmap that they have, it says alpha should be coming. I think it was just after 10.2.6 comes out, which again, Tuesday.
Yep.
So
So
Ooh.
soon. They just need to give us a release date already. I
yeah,
Yeah,
gotta
they
put my
do.
vacation request in.
yeah, same.
I have to plan. I have to plan watch party and AOTC farm and
Yeah, right.
all manner of things. So if they could just let me know when Alpha's coming out and when season 4 is starting, that would be
Then you
great.
can start.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh,
So what
so
are we thinking about the hero talents?
yeah, so they actually yesterday, as of recording, in case you're curious, we're recording this on Saturday. Hero Talents came out on Friday, which is yesterday, for a whole another 12 new.
And
We
they
got
still
them.
haven't done mine.
No, no, because it's yours, Shay. Take the
How
hint.
yeah, right. Yeah, I know. Mine'll be the last one they push out because
So,
reasons.
so in case you're curious, we have everything except for. I'm gonna read this off. Fair warning. It's gonna take a hot second. The second Demon Hunter uh, hero talent, Felsguard. One more Hunter, which is Sentinel, which I believe is Survival and Marksman. One more Mage, which is Arcane and Fire. That'd be Sun Fury. One more Monk, which is Master of Harmony for Brewmaster and Windwalker. Two Priest ones, which both of the Shadow versions, so either Voidweaver or Archon, and then the other Healy spec to match along with it. Two Rogue ones, and I've heard terrible things about the Rogue one that they actually released, Trickster. But the ones they haven't done yet are Deathstalker and Fatebound. Uh, Two Shaman ones are still unfinished. That would be Stormbringer and Totemic, and then one more Warlock one, Soul Harvester, Affliction and Demonology. But all the other ones, all the other combinations, including all four of the favorite class Druid, grumble grumble, have been released. Are there any like ones that we're particularly excited about or particularly bummed about? Please don't say Priest Oracle because we all know that's already terrible.
I'm actually looking forward
I mean,
to all of the Evoker ones. I've given them a little bit of a look, and they all just seem fun and sort of on theme, on brand for the various specs for Evoker, which I'm
I
excited to
watched
see.
I watched Max from Limit. Yeah, Liquid. That's what they're calling themselves now. Liquid. Um, go over them yesterday, and I caught the Evoker one, and it was very on theme, and uh, it sounded very good. Although all the Evoker ones are missing a key talent of increasing their range.
Yeah, that's I will admit, I've been doing Tindral Prog and occasionally I have to go Preservation. Oh my god, it's miserable.
Oh, it's
I'm
so bad.
I'm
Like
always out of range.
I get it, Blizz. You want to have a heavy theme and all that. That's great and everything, but it functionally, it feels terrible to only have that 25 to. I think you have a few abilities at a 30-yard range.
Yeah,
It's
and the
it's
heals are 30, but yeah, it's
it's more frustrating than interesting. So stab it.
well,
Just
especially given the propensity for mechanics to require people to move out beyond mid-range, right? Like
yeah,
anything that
especially on Tendril. That's a
yeah,
heavy movement.
those dispels, they're out in Narnia. I have to
Yeah,
move out to them. It's terrible. But
yeah.
yes,
Oh
so
man.
wish that came
Okay.
in our hero trees.
Are you? This is probably super early. Are you looking to stay on the Evoker for Tuowa, or are you gonna potentially switch, or do you not know yet?
I can't say I know for sure. I am enjoying my evoker, so that is always a possibility, but let us remember that at the start of this expansion, I was going to be a warlock and I just made and leveled my evoker for giggles and then was like, well, actually, so who knows?
look, you guys are over here talking about standing in Narnia like it's a bad thing. I like to be in Narnia because guess what's not in Narnia? Bus mechanics.
You know what else is into Narnia? Heals
Heals.
from Evokers.
Hmm.
I'm an evoker is basically a modified freaking what's it?
Holy,
Paladin.
yeah, holy pally, yeah. There's kind of the weird resto druid holy pally fusion with the worst aspects of both. We have a lot of spread out diffuse raid healing kind of stuff with short range. Like that's what an evoker is.
You're a
I
modified
mean,
holy paladin is all.
Aren't
in male
paladins
armor.
ranged now any day anyway? So
I thought no, paladins are melee
Theoretically.
healers, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they are
healers are.
melee healers, but uh, I have heard that they spend a lot of time hard casting and spending out at range because it's not as critical for them to be in range using Crusader Strike to generate holy power anymore, because Word of Glory just doesn't cut the mustard for healing as far as I've been told. Maybe I'm
Uh,
wrong in that, but
well, it's really fun that the healing spec, Holy Word of Glory spell that they have is approximately half as powerful as the Retribution, the DPS spec version of Word of Glory. So that's just I'm sure that feels great for a healer to be out healed by a ret.
mhm. Mhm.
But with the hero talents, I mean, so Evoker is really on theme. I agree. What are the Scale Commander and Flame Shaper and what's the third one?
Chrono Warden is
Chrono
the
Warden. That's it.
preservation augmentation combo tree.
Yeah, those are like top tier names too.
Oh,
Those
they
are
are.
fantastic. That's almost up there with Rider of the Apocalypse for Death Knights. Oh,
Somebody Azure was talking about Rider of the Apocalypse yesterday, and he was like, "Wait, so it's a better horse with freedom?"
yeah,
That's basically what he was talking about. It's like
yeah.
you could
It
hear the shock in his voice. It was good.
it was. I think there's one of their talents called On a Paler Horse, and I got a
Yep.
great chuckle out of that one.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so that one sounds really interesting too. Sorry, I don't play Death Knight, but their first hero talent is calling the four horsemen
Pew
like
pew.
randomly, and they
Mhm.
each do different things, and then all the other talents like buff the riders of the four horsemen. It's great.
Well, that sounds like fun. Maybe I'll
It's
level
like
a Death Knight.
it is totally on theme for Rite of the Apocalypse, and it mwah, chef's kiss on that one. Great job.
I mean, I don't melee, but maybe I'll level my Death Knight for that. She's still
Jazzy,
level 60.
hmm
I'm surprised you don't have a Death Knight because they can be gnomes.
I do have a Death Knight. Her name is Dead Jazzy.
Oh.
Speaking of dead Jazzy, you want to level Death Knights together?
Oh no, are we doing an all Death Knight run now?
I mean, we could. Ideas for your rhyme?
Yeah, that would be a lot of blood DKs because we just have to blood
Yeah,
DK the whole raid.
yeah,
I mean, have you seen the DPS that Blood DK's put out?
Yes, because I have one. I
Uh,
don't
You would
DPS
you
for
wouldn't you wouldn't need DPS, you wouldn't need healers because guess what? They heal themselves.
That is
exactly.
true. That is true.
Oh god, this past week we were progressing for Rock. Side note, and I took a big hit, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna die. I didn't die. I had 1 HP. And then I healed myself all the way to full because I'm not a Death Knight. I'm a monk. It's weird. I felt like a Death Knight there. Sorry,
Yeah.
healing
Did
self.
you
Ping
push one
pong,
button and do it?
Yeah, it was one button.
ping pong.
It
That
was
is fun.
expel harm, and it crit. So
Nice.
Oh, nice.
yeah. So
Oh,
are
man.
there any other hero talents? I mean, can we talk about Mage being just so good? Just oh my god,
You excited for Frostfire?
I am. I'm
You can
actually.
now you can be
What's
a real spec.
What's weird is I really like that Frostfire Bolt is back, and I still have no idea what the heck Frostfire is. I
You're gonna light your ice bolts on fire.
I
You're
got that, but like ice is water,
nope.
and
Okay, so you're gonna light it on fire and it's gonna melt on the way to the target.
The secret is that your frost bolts are frozen methane.
I like this idea. That is now canon.
I mean, that is a thing, yeah.
Now canon. But yeah, Frostfire Mage, and then the one they just put out yesterday, Spell Slinger, not associated with Wildstar. Uh, the Frost and Arcane one with the splinters. Oh, just like both sound like super super fun. I'm excited.
I just wanna see what they do with the pre-specs that involve shadow.
I don't think they even know yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, because shadow.
that would
Because I'm
require
playing it.
that
That's
would require
why.
A plan for Shadow, Shay.
right? If
Look,
Blizzard
it's
has taught me anything, it's that Shadow gets reworked every patch of every expansion.
I mean, it's better than Elemental where they just leave it in the dumpster. At least they try with Shadow. They fail, but at least they try.
Oh god. I remember peak Shadow play was in Legion before they changed Surrender to the Void.
Oh,
Back when
yep.
it was super toxic and
Surrender
you
to
could
Madness.
actually, yeah, Surrender to Madness, that's what, sorry. And you just ramped it up to 100 and then you die horribly. That was
And you
the
can't be
tooltip,
rezzed.
and you
Yep.
can't be res. That, like, great. That was so much stupid fun. I loved it. I was terrible at it, but I did get to the 100 club. I did get 100 stacks at some point, so I'm not crap. But yeah. Shadow, I don't even know what's going on with Shadow anymore.
Yeah, it's
I
either
don't think anybody
the
does.
they made me so mad this tier. Like it was so good last tier, and then they just punched it this tier. And you know why they did that? Because I swapped to Shadow Priest and I'm having fun. I'm 100% convinced that that's why they decided they were going to smack it up alongside the head.
Yeah, obviously.
See, you should have stayed Elemental, and then they would have fixed Elemental. That's what they're
That's
telling you, Shay.
funny. That's
Yeah,
funny.
okay. You think they would have fixed Elemental if I stayed Elemental? No.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Sure, we'll go with that. Jazzy, one of your favorite topics,
Oh,
MDI.
yeah. I love the MDI. It's so much fun. It
So
happened a few weeks ago
how we
for
feeling
those that,
about Echo getting dethroned?
I love it. Don't get me wrong, Echo, if you're listening, I love you guys. You guys are great. But also, chill with the winning of everything, okay? Just calm down. I'm kind of glad you lost your streak just for once. Just remember, congrats to mandatory. Seriously, guys, good job. Y'all played fantastically, especially in that last series. Fantastic. Y'all were excited too. I watched all the interviews and everything afterwards. Super happy about that. And it was.
I'd be excited
Did either
too.
of you watch the MDI, or am
I
I the
watched
only
a
going on?
No.
I
I
watched
watched
a
a little
little
bit of
bit,
it.
but not that much.
So the weekend of the finals, nearly every dungeon, the whole time, from the initial 8 all the way through the lower bracket and everything, they were all, like, within seconds of each other for every single dungeon. It
Oh, wow.
was a nail biter the entire time. It was fantastic. That's wonderful, and that's how it should be for a competition. It kept everybody engaged. It was just made for a great weekend. Um
Didn't it come down to fractions of seconds?
Oh, yeah, like, there were several times where there was a Waycrest that was within a half a second of each other, and they had to go, like, to the official in-game clock for server ticks and everything to get the final ruling. Several of those. And Echo, y'all have a ridiculous route with pulling, yeah, like, 1, 2, yeah, the entire right side in Waycrest to the pig boss. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, look, I don't that boss is not my favorite boss in there because reasons. Because Shadow Priest is slow. But I couldn't imagine doing that with all the extra
Yeah.
stuff with it. Like it's bad enough with the ads that he spawns on his own.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they start the dungeon, they go hard right, they invis past the Hunter Lodge area, which is smart because those guys really suck. They get the entire hallway, the entire pig boss room, the kitchen, and all of that goes into the boss. They hear
there
him.
are like 3 stewards in that pack. What do you
Yeah,
do when they dinner bell in the middle of the safe zone when he's doing the
your
frontal?
your name
Pray
is
for the
now, and you
best.
just dodge it. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they, especially since it was sanguine.
Yeah. Oh.
Like drop to your knees and pray to the holy light.
Yeah, that was impressive to watch Echo, and they were the only ones that did it. Nobody else even tried. They're like, "Nope, that's just Echo doing Echo things. Nope, not even nope, no."
Nope.
Yeah, just hard nope. But then, so that was like, it gets started on a Friday, and then on Saturday, Last Hope, one of the teams. They used to be called NA's Last Hope because they were, and they were again, but they were just called Last Hope. Uh, before they started a Dawn of the Infinite's fall dungeon, they told the casters, "We got some secret tech that we're gonna display for you," and nobody knew what it was. And they thought that they were just, BSing and everything. Turns out, no, they actually had legit secret tech. Apparently, you can equip engineer rocket boots, whatever they're called for this expansion. And if you line it up perfectly and slow fall, you can ignore one of the dragon flying portals and just go and land on the next platform you need to be on.
Huh.
Yeah,
What?
it saves like 10 seconds. It's scary as hell
I mean, it's
because you're
10
just
seconds.
floating. And they pulled it off perfectly the first time. The casters were in shock. Everybody was in shock that, wait, you
Pew
can
pew.
do that?
Pew pew.
Yeah. Yeah, that got them the win on the first one that they did it, and then everybody else tried to adopt it and did, and it was hilarious. It was watching that, just watching them fly.
What
I
happens?
mean,
What happens if you have a malfunction on your rocket boot?
then you're
You
SOL.
What you do is you hope that someone of your team makes it, and when you go through, it resets the graveyard, so then you just release.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so it's relatively low risk as long as someone makes it. If anyone makes it, you can get there and it resets the graveyard. You're just down the deaths and the death timer. But it's hilarious to
Mm,
watch everybody just coasting through the air with slow fall.
I mean,
And then the other
no,
hot button
no.
topic with MDI is snapping.
I hate it.
I
I hate
know.
everything about it.
I know. They've greatly reduced it, and there was a lot less of the snapping this time, and they fixed the most egregious one was a tall Desire from previous MDIs, right?
Yeah.
They fixed a
Just
lot of
pull
that
all the
snapping.
things. Just pull them
Uh,
all.
they still do some snapping in a tall, but they pull like the center section stuff down to Razan because they do Razan second.
Okay.
So it's not super egregious. It's not them like standing on a pixel perfect statue thing and then just blowing everything up together. It's not that anymore. It's more like just trying to get it down to the boss.
Look, our raid leader agrees with us.
Yeah.
Yep. She hates snapping too.
There was also um an interesting one I saw in Darkheart Thicket. Uh Now, and of course, because now and Echo doing ridiculous things, he just double jumped on top of this like root thing. I should say clarify. On the way to Oakheart, they gather up all the plants and everything, and the dwellers that do the cast fear whatnot thing. He just jumped up onto this root, and it's not like it's hard to get to. It's right in the middle of everything, but it's just got enough of a can't quite get there yet, and stuff just snaps right to him, like all the plants and everything from far behind, and it's all right there. And he just jumps off, and everything's grouped up. I'm like, that is clever, and I hate you. Yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I just don't like snapping because either it works too well and you get just absolutely bonked as the tank, or it doesn't work at all and now you have mobs strewn all over creation.
Yeah.
All the things everywhere.
Yeah.
I
Because
mean,
why the heck not?
yeah, that's the nature of the MDI though, right? When it comes down to seconds. I mean, this is also speaking of Atal Desire. I mean, like they were doing sub 10-minute Atals. Like most of them were like 9:15, 9:20
Mhm.
to clear the entire dungeon,
Yeah.
which is
That's just
insane.
dumb. Like, that's ridiculous.
I believe it was like a 25 fortified bursting storming.
Dude, storming just needs to go away.
I believe I may be incorrect on that, so please don't quote me on that. And they were timing these things with 4 DPS, no healer, in 9.5 minutes. Like you guys are crazy. I appreciate it. It's great for me to watch, but it's still ridiculous. Sorry, I could go on for hours with MDI stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Ye I mean, I'm sorry I didn't get to watch more of it. I watched a little bit of it, but I had a lot going on that day too.
Unacceptable.
I know, it's horrible. I'm a horrible, awful, hateful person, and I should be shot.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
So season 4 Mythic Plus.
Yes, this will not have an MDI. Instead, it has a yeah, TGP. I don't know why I stuttered on that.
I
A
have
great
no
push.
clue. What are we feeling about the difficulty squish?
I think. Okay, I'm gonna get flamed for this. I think. I don't think it matters for what I do. Anyway, I should clarify. For what I do, it changes nothing.
I mean, I'm pretty much in the same boat with you, but they're bringing back the original dungeons,
They are.
which suck.
I uh, I'm weird when I say this. I don't like Brackenhide. It can stay away.
Brackenhide can go away.
Yeah.
Frickin' Algathar Academy, that first if you go to the left, that first boss, oh my god, like, just no.
Oh,
No.
really? He never gave me any
I don't
issues.
like that boss. Like,
Huh.
it's stupid. Uh, and then the bird boss with all the tornadoes, like, ugh.
That's talent toss for you soft skins.
The last time I did that place, it was on my shaman, and elemental is not very mobile. I have a little bit more that I can do with shadow than I did as elemental, but
Huh.
yeah.
I would have thought that would have been the other way around since you
No,
like that whole ghost wolf thing.
I meant as far as being able to cast on the move.
Oh, I forget. Shamans have been able to cast lightning bolt on the move for a while now, haven't
No,
they?
like, if they gave me back that, I would be so happy, but, like, nope. Mm-mm. Flame shock, frost shock, if you get a lava burst proc, maybe,
Maybe.
maybe.
I don't know.
Um,
Tank jail. I always just tank that stuff, and everything just follows me. So
Ruby life pools can just go yeet itself off a cliff because
I
I do not like that dungeon.
I still am traumatized from the last time I did Ruby Life Pools in like a competitive situation where we spent an entire night practicing that first pull on the tournament realms, which is, if in case you're curious, it's invis past the big guy and then everything else to the boss. That pull is hard.
Pew pew. They look, I would be useful in that on my shaman because of Cap Totem and because of
Yeah,
Dave
and because of Earthquake. And you
and
don't have
Earthquake.
Dave, you have Rocky. I
I
have
have
Dave. Stay off.
his name is Dave. Get
Oh,
it right.
you're.
And then the fire elemental is Stanley.
I can go with Stanley being all flamey and stuff, but Dave is mine. You have Rocky.
Nope.
Yep. Uh, what other ones here are we looking forward to and or not looking
I'm
forward to?
kind of looking forward to Uldaman.
Really? I
It's long, but and I don't know why, but I like that dungeon.
the last boss makes it not fun for me. I don't like that last boss.
No Kudo on the other hand. No, thank you.
See, I don't mind Nokud at all. I like the flying, going from
It's
boss to
not
boss.
the flying stuff, it's all the stuff that stands back and shoots at you that you can't interrupt. And if you don't have a death knight or some kind of a knockback in the group, it just stays out in Narnia.
I mean, just ring a piece, forehead.
I don't have Ring of Peace. And did you call me forehead?
Yeah.
Cheesy peasy jazzy.
Oh, what
Oh
about you,
man.
Rhyme? Are you looking forward to any one dungeon in particular, and or looking very much not forward to any one dungeon in particular?
I like No Coup Defensive because of the flying. I'm not so sure about Ruby Life Pools. I really don't like the mini boss dragons that fly around. I've always had seems
They
like groups
hurt.
I'm in, well, groups I've been in, they always have a hard time um with those either. Like I don't enjoy skipping mobs, so when groups are like, "Yeah, we're gonna skip these," and then invariably somebody screws something up, and
Pew
so
pew.
suddenly the mob you're trying to skip is with you, and you have two other packs with it because somebody screwed something up. Like it's just super rough. So Ruby Life Fools, I have a little bit of trepidation about. But I think I'm actually kind of looking forward to all of them. I enjoyed all of the dungeons. I think the Azure Vault is probably my least favorite of all of them.
That's fair.
Um,
Yeah.
just because it always I don't know, I get claustrophobic. You're going down into the cave and you're just going down, down, down to Goblin Town, and I just ugh, I don't enjoy it.
You
To
wanna know something
Goblin
fun
Town.
about that last boss that puts the slow on you?
What?
I'm a gnome.
Oh yeah, you can gnome racial your way out of it, can't you?
I can. So not only do I have Tiger's Lust that'll get it off of me, I'm a gnome and I can get it off of me.
You mean Tiger's Lust that you can use to get it off somebody else?
Me,
I
yes.
call hacks.
I said it before, the gnome racial is underrated and undervalued by so many people. Sorry. Gnome for life, man.
I don't wanna get
Okay.
stuck on a rock.
Or
Why?
drown in a puddle.
Look,
Yeah.
we're really good swimmers, okay? We have to be by
Have
necessity.
line
We're
of sight
really
by a line on the floor.
I feel your pain on the Ruby life pools though, because in my experience, anytime somebody says we're skipping this pack, that's the pack
It
that
gets
will
pulled.
guaranteed to get pulled.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah,
Look,
every time.
those mini boss dragons in that dungeon suck. Like, the lightning one, somebody always dies on that. I don't think I've ever done a run where on Mythic Plus that somebody hasn't died on that. Look, I did a follower dungeon just to see what they were, and of course I get ruby life pools, and the NPCs kept dying to it.
Yeah.
I think for Ruby Life Pools, the one thing I would really like to see is the quote unquote recommended route, because if I remember right, I always came out wildly over percentage on trash because there was
Yes.
just so much trash, and like you could almost, if I remember right, there was one time we did it and we basically skipped all of the trash on the first floor. We full cleared everything else on the second floor, but we basically skipped everything on the first floor. And
Mhm.
then we were fine for trash, and it's just that seems a little egregious to me that the trash timer is, or the trash percentage is that undervalued, I guess, on that dungeon. It's just so easy to go over that I think it sort of inspires some of the crazy strats where it's like, yeah, we're gonna skip this dragon. Lol, no, we're not.
Yeah, I Ruby life pools is probably one of the more egregious ones with the percent of trash that you need versus the percent of trash that is actually in the dungeon.
Hmm.
I think that should be adjusted somewhat. You should not. It should not be okay to either do everything on the first floor and skip the upper ring, or do the entire upper ring and skip the first floor. You
But
need
you
to
can't
do
skip
more.
the upper ring, can you?
Oh, you can skip a lot of it if you
Yeah,
do
because
everything on the first
But you
floor.
have to don't you have to do part of it to engage the boss?
you need to kill the fire elementals, and that's it.
Yeah, just the fire
I was
elemental.
gonna say you can't skip all that stuff on the upper level. You gotta kill it to engage the boss.
You can skip a lot of it because all you need is the fire elementals.
Good. That upper ring can just go yeet itself off a cliff because reasons.
Yeah. Uh, so what do we think there's any gonna be any changes to the flavor of the month? I mean, that's one thing with MDI is there was very much a optimal setup
Yeah, it
of
was
classes and specs
4 DPS, no healer.
for multiple dungeons. Like I think
Yeah.
both of the Dawn of the Infinites were at one point at least 4 DPS and a tank.
Hmm.
Um, and I know that what was the other one? Oh, Atoll was another one that they did that. But do we think that there's going to be a change to the Demon Hunter tank, Shadow Priest, Fire Mage, was it Destro Warlock, and then either a Resto Druid or a Ret Paladin
I think that's gonna
setup?
take some thought about the tiers that are available to each of those classes, since with season 4, we're all getting like Shadow Priest is getting season 2 tier back,
I
I
can't wait.
believe.
I cannot wait.
Like, I think it depends on, are there going to be better tiers available for other classes? I think, there will be. Fire Mage is perennially a favorite because it's Fire Mage. It has great AoE. It does, Lust. It has good single target when you need to. Like, it does the things.
Yeah.
I say Shadow Priest for Jazzy's favorite thing.
I mean, it's Shadow Priest stays because the 2 letters that shall not be
TI.
named. Yeah, those ones.
Yeah. I found out the hard way last night that I had that weak aura Shay still enabled on my mage.
Oh.
I had to apologize to some people.
What weak aura?
I have a weak aura that replies to the Shadow Priest, or to the priest that gives me PI. On my mage, I want PI because it's great. Problem was, it didn't tell them that.
Oh, did it tell them something else because you don't want PI on your
Yeah,
monk?
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Jazzy did it because when I go to the fishing party, I just PI him because I know it ticks him off.
Okay.
And
It
he
doesn't
worked the
actually.
weak aura to reply to me. And
It
Nice.
replies to whoever casted it. So this poor Shadow Priest, or this poor, I think they were Shadow Priests, were PIing me because they're a good person. And if you're listening, because I think you're at EK, because it was actually a fun run. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, I had to apologize profusely and say like, no, 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 that's for something else.
that was directed at me, not you.
It's meant to be a trolling thing. Sorry, sorry.
It was
Listen to
directed at
podcasts where I go off on a rant.
it was directed at me, not you,
So yeah,
because I torture Jazzy with it every chance I get.
yeah. I mean, it's just my
How
silent
dare you,
protest.
Jazzy?
That's not terribly
How
silent.
dare you hurt that poor priest's feelings?
I apologize profusely. I think they understood that it was just for trolling purposes. Yeah. So, yeah. Are there any? Speaking of tier sets for the next season, besides Shadow Priest getting fantastic one, Brewmaster is getting the same one we have right now because it's great. Are there any other tier sets that we're looking forward to? I
Uh,
don't know what
I'm
classes we play.
I'm excited for the evoker tiers because I believe Devastation is getting last season's tier, which was fun.
I was thinking last
And
season's legendary. Ooh, too soon.
they better. I have already told Gravity that if I have to re-get Nazuro, I quit. Like,
I don't think
I'm
they would
not
Oh
make you do that. That
no.
would be awful.
I'm not redoing that RNG, and it's similar for Faraloth. If I have to re-get Faraloth, I quit. It should
Look,
be an
Yeah,
upgrade item.
it should
look.
be an upgrade. Yeah, I don't
Hear
think.
me out on this.
Ooh, that would be rough.
Give shadow priests or like shadow priests and mage and warlocks, give us a caster weapon.
You're gonna get one next expansion.
Yeah, you're getting Naifu back, right?
Yeah.
But it's not giving me anything now.
Well, that's because it's next expansion.
Yeah, I'm sure
I
you'll.
feel so left out
I mean,
Why?
I missed the monk legend. Oh wait,
because I was on the shaman and the shaman didn't get anything, and now I'm on the priest and the priest doesn't get anything, and everybody else is getting fun toys but me.
excuse me. Still waiting
What do
for
you
a
mean,
legendary.
excuse me?
The monk. Sorry, I'm salty that the monk has not gotten a legendary one ever.
So you feel my pain then?
Wait,
Yeah,
monks are a class? They're playable in World of Warcraft?
not according
Like
to
like
Blizzard.
a gnome? Gnomes are
Ta-
good for one thing.
Talk about an underrepresented class.
Yeah, I shouldn't make jokes because the Mistweaver monk and I on Gravity we have a good time. I feed her spatial paradox so she can keep me alive while I chase fire beams.
What? Wait. You give spatial to why?
Because spatial paradox lets her move and cast. So I give it to her during her seed ramp with her trinket. She has the seedling.
Oh,
Uh,
she funnels into the seed. Okay, that
yeah,
makes sense then.
she funnels into the seed. It apparently explodes for like
A lot.
4 million healing across the entire raid. Like it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Um,
And
and
it's
so
smart too, so that helps.
yeah, I feed her that during the very first beam root set on
Okay.
Kindle.
Okay.
Um, and actually, kind of talking Mistweaver stuff has me wanting to play my monk that I have that I recently moved over to Proudmoore from Dalaran. So
The hero talents for Windwalker they're definitely hero talents.
good or bad, Jazzy? Now I gotta
Eh.
go look.
They are they are they are meh at best.
My
Yeah,
monk is 70.
Azure was not happy with, I think, Conduit of the Celestials.
No, that one's real bad. It gives you haste, because that's good, right?
I like haste.
Yeah, haste is great. Why
Not
wouldn't
on a
you want more
Windwalker.
haste? But doesn't it
Not
make
on
you
monk.
punch faster? It makes you punch
Ha-
No,
faster.
it does
haste makes
not.
the dots go faster.
If haste actually increased auto attack speed, that would be a thing. Like
Pew 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 pew.
that would change a lot of stuff.
I could swear that it did.
It does not. Haste does not affect auto attack speed, at least as far as I'm aware. But also,
I don't
so
know.
much of monk stuff is not auto attack stuff.
Pew pew
True.
pew pew pew.
What if haste was CDR? Then it would be good for you,
It
right?
used to be, and on some abilities it is, but nothing that matters.
Gotcha.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. We could go on, but yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I should also say I like Mistweaver Monk. I think it's a lot of fun. It's interesting. It's it's still, in my opinion, I know they just got a nerf this past weekend or this past Tuesday. Um, eh, they're just so underrepresented because Monk is so underrepresented. So when they're good, they're really good by a very tiny vocal majority, and then they get nerfed the week later because Legion existed. I'm still not over it.
There, our
Poor
Miss
Jazzy.
Weaver was actually she was fairly upset about it, but then
Yeah,
we had raid, and she was less upset about it.
I don't think the nerf that happened actually did a tremendous amount of actual power
No.
reduction. It's more of the principle of the matter of why
Oh
are you
yeah,
nerfing one of the least represented classes
yeah. That's. I
on one of the
mean,
least represented specs.
well, and something I've talked to a couple people about, like just the play style isn't as engaging as it has been previously with Mistweaver, where they
Yeah,
don't feel like you know they it doesn't feel like you're actually engaging with things. You're just standing back and being a heal bot almost, which is not what
yeah.
they want to be. So
Make fist weaving great again. Miss Uplift, man. Sorry. Side note.
I don't think I've ever healed with the monk.
Really?
Uh-uh.
It is conceptually hard.
Really?
Yeah. It's up there with Disc
Okay.
Priest on conceptual difficulty. It's not as hard as Disc Priest, um, because there's less like ramp and it's less risk if you don't do it exactly right. But it's getting your renews out on the right people, finding time to actually extend it properly and do the healing that needs to be done is it's not a trivial task. It's a lot of spinning plates.
I mean, look, I did Disc Priest back in not Dragonflight,
Dragon
Dragon
Soul.
Soul.
Yeah. Very different Disc Priest.
Yeah, look, I haven't even really looked at Disc yet, this expansion, just because I didn't plan on leveling my priest, but like I'm looking at it and I was playing Elemental and I'm sitting there and I'm crying because Elemental is so bad and I'm like, what other range class is good that isn't an evoker, which is not a real range class? Um,
wow.
you're kind of
Wow.
like you're not a real range, you're a
I
melee
can't
range.
I can't
Excuse
hear you
you.
from 40 yards out.
I have to deal with with ranged mechanics too. When I go prez on Kindrel, you know what I have to do? I have to go stand out of range of the group on top of the Disc Priest Resto Druid stack, because if I get the first Dispel on Tindy, I have to be in the right spot to get Dispelled.
You
So
know what actually happens, Rhyme? You
what?
bring the range mechanics into the melee and make melee hate you.
I've accidentally done that at least once because I thought I got Dispelled and I did not, and then I moved in to
Oh
stack
my
for roots, and then
god,
I got Dispelled.
Rhyme.
There was a mage yelling at me, Rhyme, get out! You still have the debuff, get out! And I was like, what?
Why
Fuck.
are you
Oh,
he
I'm
why are
sorry.
you
Okay, I'm out.
why are you here?
Yeah,
Oh my
pretty
god.
much.
We had that
Oh
happen
my
a few
god.
times with our mage, and I'm sorry, Tacos, I'm gonna call you out, but it happens so rarely, don't feel bad. He would be like Dispel number 4, and he's a mage, so he just blink in when it was done, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
There was a non-zero amount of times where he would blink in too early
Yep. Our mage
Speaking
does
of
that too.
taco,
I'm sorry,
and then get
Warcat.
dispelled.
I'm sorry, Warcat, but she does that too. Like she feels bad about it. She's always like,
Yeah,
"Oh, I'm so sorry. I moved in
and
early." And we're like, "It's okay."
and for the entirely too many pulls that we had on Tendril, it was by far the absolute minority times it happened.
Oh
So
yeah.
please don't. I'm not making fun of you at all, Tacos. It's just it's memorable because it's like, oh, that's out there and dispel. Oh no, it's on us. Oh crap.
Taco heard you say tacos and he's like, "Wait." He's
Oh,
staring
that's
at my
dumb.
headset like, "What the heck are you doing, ma?"
Yeah.
Talking about you.
So season 4, and this isn't on our topics, but it just came to me. Rhyme. I don't want to use the term faded, but if they're doing an affix on mythic raid type of situation, or affix on raids, faded was not the greatest. But what would you, if you were a dev for a day, what would you do for something along those lines? What sounds fun and or engaging as a fix for season 4 to the raid?
Um, I'm gonna get hate for this. I enjoyed the. Do you remember season 3 of Shadowlands where you had to kill the little mini bosses? Um,
Oh, encrypted.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to run around. You had to kill the mini bosses, and then when you fought the last boss, um, you would have to suffer, some sort of like you basically suffer the drawbacks of whatever mini bosses you didn't kill. I would envision something like that. Like before each boss, there's a little bit of trash before all the bosses. Um, and having, or maybe even just for like the wings, because there are still some pretty defined wings for each area of the separate raids that we've got. Um, so you go through the wing, and then for the wing boss, um, whatever tier boss there is, you have some kiss curse detract, effects based on what mini bosses you cleared. Um, and maybe it could be something as simple as um, increased damage done, increased damage taken, or you know, safe zones. Like I don't know what specifically I would do for the mechanics to be there, just because there are such wildly disparate fights. But I think something like that, adding in, I mean, I know Faded wasn't popular. I don't think I much cared for Faded just because it had that rotating nature to it, right? So
Yeah, that
the
was the worst part.
affixes, yeah, the affixes that you had from one week to the next were different. And so, yeah, that made some fights easy one week, but then incredibly hard the next week. And then being able to turn on, turn off, like I just feel like it introduced a little bit too much complexity into some of these fights. And some of the fights are already like, can you imagine Echo with having to DPS down a pack of ads to get a damage buff at some like, oh,
Oh,
you're
that
you're
sounds awful.
yeah, you're trying to split apart the 5 rings on Echo, and the ad pack spawns out in Narnia. Good luck. Like, no, I don't.
Can
So
can you
I
imagine having to kill a bunch of mobs and, "Nope, we gotta leave this quadrant now."
yep, yep. So I think um
Oh god, that'd be awful.
they something should be done. I don't know. I feel like hopefully it would be thematically appropriate. Maybe Jazzy. I had a brainwave.
Ugh.
Maybe the pandemonium is pandas coming into the raids and wreaking havoc. That's what it is. There's gonna be
No,
beer
we
and
don't.
Oh,
pandas
No.
Lord
everywhere.
have
Oh god.
mercy.
We do not need an army of Nomis destroying the entire raid on fire. Like, no, no.
Imagine Storm Stout Brewery, but in Aberystwyth instead.
Oh god. I don't this is completely unrelated. Well, not completely, but relatively unrelated. Do y'all remember when it was going into Legion, they were doing some testing. This is before Legion launched. They did testing in on the PTR. They want to just check like server stability testing. So they spawned a raid boss in the Dalaran that's over Deadwind Pass. That was in the pre-patch. Dalaran was over Deadwind Pass before it moved out to the Broken Isles. Um, and they spawned a raid boss in the city, and it was Nomi. And he just started lighting everything on fire, and like everything was burning, and threw burning food at people. It was hilarious. They made a custom boss just for that, and the whole theme was because Nomi burns everything, right?
Pew
That's what he
pew.
does. So yeah,
That, I do remember a little bit of that, and that was funny. That
I
was
cracked that
amazing.
part. Yeah. Oh my god. So sorry, sidetracked, side point, but
It happens because reasons.
I don't know what you're talking about. Squirrel.
Shiny. But anywho, I think we've covered everything that we wanted to cover. Oh wait, no, we didn't. I have something.
Oh,
Um, so if you aren't dropping us a follow, social media has expanded. We are now on Threads on Instagram, and we are also on Blue Sky. So the links will be in the bio here on the video. Come check us out.
yeah, social media. We're everywhere, man.
And there's gonna more to come.
Oh yeah.
I'm not giving details, but more's coming. Not necessarily more platforms, but more stuff is coming.
Always more
You'll see.
stuff.
Always more stuff.
We're like a duck on a pond, man. May look calm, but those feet are going crazy.
Prime just messaged me his computer crashed.
Oh no! Well, Rhyme, it was great having you, and since you're not here to hear that, I never said it. So,
We'll give him a minute to pop back in here. Jazzy, you got anything else you want to cover? Anything for banking?
uh, no, Banky's still going, doing our thing. Feel free to join me on Sundays. Every Sunday at noon server for fishing. And Cindy will show up at the last second. Love you, Cindy.
Because reasons.
Yeah, because
All
reason.
right. So instead of just walking around till Rhyme gets back, thank you for joining us, Rhyme. Pleasure as always. Thank you to everybody for listening to us, and we'll see y'all next time.
See y'all next time. Thanks.
Bye, Craig.
Bye, Craig.